Coming up live right now, Stanley the Baron Behrens, legendary musician extraordinaire, is joining us right here on the Jim Masters Show from his home in the greater Los Angeles, California area. Actually, he's on Venice Beach. Not too shabby. Although he's an East Coast kid originally from, well, he was born in the Bronx, New York City, and then grew up out on Long Island. He grew up on the South Shore in Suffolk County, actually Nassau County, which is beautiful. It's next to the city. You have Nassau County, then you have Suffolk County, for those who don't know that. And he grew up in Massapequa area, which is nice. He was just telling me how he used to take his boat on the Great South Bay. Really nice. But he is on the West Coast. He makes his home in Venice Beach, where he has for about 40 years. He truly is a music legend. He's joining us here. He's currently with the iconic group War. Yep. But we're going to talk about that. We've got so much to talk about. He's even going to perform live for us as well. His nickname is the Baron. We're going to find out how that started. He says he's got a really cool story to share with us about how that started as well. And again, as I mentioned, he is with War now, and yet you may also remember him from this iconic group as well, Canned Heat, for many, many years as well. He's an iconic performer, harmonica, saxophone, you name it. But of course, really known for his harmonica. He has played with some of the greats over the years as well, many greats. Tell you just a little bit about his extraordinary experience, and then we'll welcome everybody. Harmonica, saxophone, flutes, he does it all. Stan Behrens is extraordinary. His early influences: started playing harmonica at the early age of 5, learned to play the melodies of Stephen Horster and other popular American folk tunes. Also during the mid to late 50s, while traveling through the southern states, headed to Miami for winter vacations with his folks, he discovered the sounds of blues and country styles of harmonica players. He knew that he had to learn how to play those styles of harmonica playing. He wanted to really play like Paul Butterfield or James Cotton when he heard them. And in 1967, the band Canned Heat with Alan Wilson became a favorite. He learned everything Alan Wilson played on those records. After Alan Wilson died, he wanted to be in Canned Heat. And years later, they asked him to join. And in 1973, while jamming with Johnny Winter at the Record Plant Studio in New York, he caught the attention of Alice Cooper's band. And he was asked to sit in on their session. And he played a 12-bar opening to the song Working Up a Sweat off the Muscle of Love album as well, which is really something quite special and really, really cool. Again, he's an iconic performer, really is, and he's been doing this for quite some time. And again, he's worked with so many incredible people over the years, and we're going to talk about all of it. And again, current projects and you name it. But it's really great to have him here on the show. And just let me tell you a little bit more, because there is a little bit more to share, which I think is quite extraordinary. He, which is amazing, working on that Alice Cooper album, he was not paid or given credit for the work. So it might be a surprise to you that he was working on that album. That song made it to the top of the charts. It was played on top 40 radio hundreds of times a day. He relocated to the West Coast, California in 1975, and he played in the band that brought Ruth Brown's return to fame. He joined up with jazz organist Jimmy Smith in 1976 and recorded on 3 of Jimmy Smith's albums. And in 1980, Stanley became the go-to harmonica player for composers of television and film music, like, of course, the iconic television composer Mike Post. Oh, Mike Post is responsible for so many iconic TV themes, film, and more. You can hear Stanley playing on the theme to The Rockford Files, starring James Gardner, and Renegade, and My Name is Earl, and Quantum Leap. These are iconic TV series. Just a few that he's recorded. Recently, even Roseanne, the series Roseanne, has been added to his credits of TV shows. In 1986, he joined up with blues giant Willie Dixon. Willie liked Stanley's harmonica and saxophone playing so much, he recorded with Willie until Willie passed away in 1992. After 5 decades of being a professional musician, he's still going strong, currently touring, as I mentioned, with the iconic band War, and they have been around for decades as well. And again, it really is such an honor and a treat to have Stan with us. Look at these amazing photos that we have here on our exclusive collection with this exclusive conversation. I know they're like interviews, but we call them conversations here at the Jim Masters Show. Get ready, folks. He's going to perform live. We are live. If you want to interact with us, you want to comment, say hello during the show, just subscribe to our YouTube channel right now, Jim Masters TV. And when you subscribe to the YouTube channel, gives you the opportunity to actually comment in our JMS Lovely Hall chat room, which is right there on the channel. You can see it there, the chat section. So you can comment while the show is on, say hello to each other, say hello to us. If you have a question, you can post a question. I'm a very interactive host, gang. So feel free to join in on the fun as we get ready to welcome, again, our very, very special guest joining us here from his home in Venice Beach, California. The Baron himself, Stan Behrens, joining us here. Really fantastic. All right, he's all comfy. We did a little sound check before the show, which is really cool. We love when we do that and make sure the audio and everything sounds good. Everything is looking good. Our set looks good. I think you guys look great. Here's Stan, looking like $1 million himself. Hey, Stan,
all right.
to the show.
Well, that's quite an intro.
I see you got your Yankees hat on.
Oh, well, yeah. My dad played semi-pro baseball.
He did.
Yeah, he played what they called back in the day sandlot teams.
Yes.
Which was like equivalent to AAA.
Yes.
He was a hell of a ball player, my father.
What position did he play?
He was a shortstop.
Shortstop, yeah.
Yeah.
My father played ball too with the PAL, the Police Athletic League.
Sure.
They'd have that too. He was born and raised as well in New York City in Astoria, and he grew up just a couple blocks from Tony Bennett, and had met him on several occasions there in Astoria. And of course, Tony always talked so fondly about beautiful Astoria, New York, just over the East River from Manhattan, and a wonderful area. And he used to play. My father played also roller hockey in the streets of the city in Astoria. He was with the Astoria Maple Leafs. That was the team. And it was roller, it was like ice hockey, but on roller skates. How about you growing up in the city?
I got to tell you something. My sister, Loretta Behrens, is a Hall of Fame roller derby skater.
Is she really?
Oh, yeah. Hall of Fame roller derby. She was with the original roller derby back in the 50s. She was a star on those
do you remember? Those shows used to be on, I think, in New York, Channel 9 or 11 or 5 was one of them that carried those roller derbies. That's something, huh?
Yeah.
How are you on roller skates?
I could still skate.
Can you do it?
Yeah, I'm no good on a skateboard, but roller skates are all right.
They didn't teach you the skateboard out there in LA,
huh? No, the skate was. Oh no, I stayed off the skateboards. I had one experience on a skateboard, and I almost broke my neck. So I said, forget it. Let me adjust my. Yes, I come from kind of an athletic family. My older brother was a professional jockey, rode thoroughbred racehorses for all his life.
Wow, that's cool.
Oh yeah, he rode back in the day with Eddie Arcaro and Willie Shoemaker and all. He won a lot of big races.
Wow, that's amazing, huh? So a celebrated New York family with a lot of vim and vigor, huh? Going out and doing things, making it happen.
They all made claims to fame.
That's incredible. So you were born in New York City in the Bronx, but raised out on the island, huh? Long Island.
I spent my first 10 years in the Bronx.
Yeah.
And then we moved to Long Island in the mid 50s. Wow. 1955.
Yeah, that's amazing, huh? How did growing up in New York influence your either way of thinking or your inspiration to go into music? How did growing up in the East Coast and then specifically in the New York area, I mean, there's so much culture, so many people come out of New York, especially Brooklyn, and boom, Barry Manilow and Barbara Streisand and Neil Diamond coming out of that whole area. Something's in the water.
Elliot Easton lived in Massapequa. He just played the other night at the Write-Off Room.
Massapequa. Also, isn't Massapequa home to the Baldwin brothers, the actors, and also Steve Guttenberg, I believe, and Jerry Seinfeld, right?
Seinfeld, yeah.
They're all Massapequa, Long Island, New York.
I think Neil Diamond might have been from there also.
Was in Massapequa as well. I know Billy Joel was Huntington.
I played with Billy Joel.
You played with Billy Joel.
Yeah, way back. There used to be a club in Amityville, Long Island.
Amityville, yes.
Yeah, it was called the Daisy, and I played there. Billy Joel was playing with a band called El Primo or something like that. Billy Joel sounded just like Stevie Winwood back in those days.
Yes,
he had Stevie Winwood nailed down. He had a band called the Hassles.
Oh, yeah.
I used to pick Billy Joel up hitchhiking on Hicksville Road, going to the North Shore.
Going to the North Shore, right?
Yeah, I think he lived in Cold Spring Harbor.
Yes, which is a very nice area on the North Shore.
Billy did very well for himself.
That's fantastic. I know. Hey, he sure did, huh?
Oh, boy, did he?
Say, I mean, selling out, continuing even all these years later, Madison Square Garden.
Sure, marrying Cindy Brinkley.
Christy Brinkley.
Christy
Brinkley.
I mean, how lucky can you get?
Yes. And there was a colleague of mine at one of the television stations, a news reporter, that at one time he was dating as well. And it's a very small world, isn't it, Stan?
It is. It actually is. Especially when you start traveling around the world, you realize how far the music travels.
It travels far.
Yeah, it's like you can go to some of the most obscure places on earth, and they know your music,
which is incredible. And I think you can go to some of the most obscure places on earth, and you'll always meet a New Yorker. At least I found that in my travels around the world.
I always meet somebody I know.
It's like, wow, you grew up there, or you went to that restaurant, or that's really amazing. So growing up for you, there's 10 years in the Bronx and then of moving to Massapequa, Long Island, which for folks watching, as I mentioned, is on the South Shore in Nassau County. Who were some of the folks that you were listening to? Who were some of the musicians and bands and groups and performers, even singers as well, that inspired you early on?
Well, early on, when I was in high school, Bobby Darin, all those those soul bands, the Four Tops, and all those soul records. I was actually in a blue-eyed soul band in 1964, and we used to play at Scott Muni's Rolling Stone on 48th and 2nd Avenue. We used to alternate weekends with another band called the Vagrants.
Mm-hmm.
The Vagrants had two brothers in the band. They were Larry Weinstein played bass, and Leslie Weinstein played guitar. And eventually, Leslie Weinstein became Leslie West.
That's right.
Yeah, he was a badass. I'll tell you that.
What was it about the harmonica? I mentioned in the intro a little bit of some of the slight inspirations, but what was it about the harmonica that spoke to you? And was that the very first instrument for you?
Yeah. My older brother had a harmonica, and I took it from him, and I started playing like Stephen Foster songs. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I learned a bunch of songs. I learned how to play single notes, and I learned I learned, a lot of like "Oh Susanna" and "You Are My Sunshine,"
Yeah. Right.
and then like you mentioned before, when we traveled for the winter vacations, driving down south, you started hearing. I was always kind of mess around with the radio. I always wanted to hear radio stations that you couldn't get in New York.
Yes, they call that. I used to do that with radio and with TV stations. They call it
Yeah,
DXing.
yeah.
It's
So
DXing. You're getting these distant stations, like late at night, you'll get Chicago, or you'll get, and you'll be excited to hear far the AM signal or FM.
I used to have a crystal radio when I
Did you
lived in the
really?
Bronx. Yeah, and you would attach it. It didn't run on batteries or anything. You would attach like an antenna wire to the steam pipe, and it turns the building into an antenna.
You're right.
And late at night,
You didn't use that during lightning storms, did you?
I didn't think about it then.
Right.
But what it would do, there was these two radio stations that broadcasted Clear Channel after midnight, and one of them came out of Rochester, New York. I'll never forget it. This jockey's name was Harry Abraham, and the show was Best of All Possible Worlds. And he played nothing but like avant-garde jazz, Miles Davis, John Coltrane, Eric Dolphy. But there was another radio station that also was a Clear Channel station that came out of Wheeling, West Virginia, called WWVA in Wheeling, West Virginia. And they played Hank Williams and Crazy Elmer and Cowboy Copus. And the stations used to fade back and forth.
Right, they would, right.
Yeah.
Weather, humidity.
The crystal radio would pick it up. So I'd be listening to Coltrane, and all of a sudden it would fade into Roy Acuff and the Smoky Mountain Boys. And then I'd hear like, saxophone playing jazz, and then harmonica playing all this like country stuff. And I go, wow, that sounds cool. That sounds like the kind of harmonica I have, but they're playing. How did they get those notes?
Mm-hmm.
So then I was on a quest, to find out how to get those notes that I couldn't find initially on a harmonica. So I was basically self-taught.
You're self-taught, really?
Oh yeah. I taught myself how to. I learned. I started buying records like Paul Butterfield came out in 1965, and the Lovin' Spoonful with John Sebastian.
Yes.
Those were some early influences. Butterfield and Sebastian, and then I got into like James Cotton and Little Walter and Sonny Boy Williamson. I got a job working at the Hohner Harmonica Factory, and I used to run into Sonny Terry there all the time.
Wow.
Because Sonny Terry would come and get his harmonicas tweaked there by a guy named Andy Paskus.
Yeah.
So I became friends with Sonny Terry, and I just learned about the blues. And things just, progressed.
You probably would have been fine if you grew up in the South too, just because of the influences, New Orleans and so much more.
Well, I did spend like almost a couple of years in the Carolinas. Actually, my Army career was down south. I was drafted in 1967, and ended up being. I took basic training in Fort Jackson, which is in Columbia, South Carolina, and then they sent me to Fort Bragg, which is Fayetteville, North Carolina, where I hooked up with a civilian band at Fort Bragg, and I played 6 nights a week off post. I was always in trouble. Did I lose you? Oh
no, yeah, we're giving you the full screen there. Yeah.
Yeah. That's where the name the Baron came from. When I was stationed down south, they said, "What's your name?" I said, "Stanley Behrens," and they'd go, "Stanley Baron?" I go, "No, Behrens." They go, "Baron?"
Baron.
No, it's Behrens. And they go, Baron? I said, yeah, just, now just call me the Baron.
The Baron.
Right. And from then on, people would say, hey, there goes the Baron, and it kind of stuck.
It stuck, right?
Yeah, the band that I was with, we were called the Time Approximate, which eventually became a band called Liquid Smoke when we got out of the Army. They got signed with Atco Embassy, and I was sort of a fifth member of that band.
Wow, that's incredible. When it started rolling for you, did it start rolling, some of the successes early? Was it something that was really, taking off, or did it take time to build and be seen and heard and known?
It took a lot of time.
A lot of time.
Yeah. Like I tell people, don't ever give up your dreams, because your dreams will come true if you keep believing in them. Sometimes it takes a long time. Yeah, that's, here I am, I'm in my 70s, and my career is blossoming better than it ever has.
And you've waited all this time to get on the Jim Masters Show live, too. I mean, that's got to be the pinnacle, huh? I mean,
awesome. I tell you, yeah.
That's what it is, I tell you. So that's exciting. I mean, the progression of your career and your influences and inspirations as you, were sort of coming up the ranks as you're describing. Like you mentioned, you learned to play the melodies of Stephen Horster and other popular Americana folk tunes. And during the mid to late 50s, while traveling through the southern states, heading up to Miami for the winter vacations for the folks, you discover the sounds, like you say, of blues and country styles of the other harmonica players. And that's when you knew you had to learn how to play these harmonica styles, huh?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. When I was in the service, I came up with something. I wish I don't have it with me. It was called the Marine Band Map. It was a Marine Band harmonica, and I showed where all the natural tones are. It's a 10-hole harmonica, and it has only 20 reeds, but the reeds will bend. So I made this map of where all the bent notes are, and how you curve the air to get to them, and that's what I taught that to Lee Oscar. He learned. He took all the knowledge that I knew from the Hohner company, and he put it into his harmonicas, and so me and Lee Oscar, we became very good friends. He was the original harmonica player in the band War.
That's right, exactly, which you are currently with.
Well, currently, no longer. I did it 11 years, and I'm
so that, when did that come to an end?
Last year.
Oh, it did, yeah.
Actually, I got sick with COVID, and they fired me.
What?
Well, it's kind of crazy,
Yeah, that's fresh, brand new information.
For
everybody. Yeah, because everything out there still says you're with them. Yes.
I did it for 11 years.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh yeah, I had a ball playing in the band. It was a great gig. The band that I was in, Lonnie Jordan was the leader of that band, and he was actually the only original member. The rest of us were all guns for hire.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They asked me to join that band 3 times. I turned it down twice, and the third time I needed a job, so I took it.
Yeah, they're iconic, exactly. But you Canned Heat was something that was very, very special for you. Tell us about, Tell us about how you got involved with Canned Heat. It's back in 67?
Yeah, 1967, I was in the service.
Yeah.
I was in the Army, and there was just something about that guy, Alan Wilson, like when he came out with that song, On the Road Again. But I'm so tired of crying, and I'm out on the road again. I'm on the road again. And then on the album there was a long harmonica solo, and he had a tone, a certain sound that he had, and he also tweaked his harmonicas in a certain way to get notes that were like impossible to get at the time. So I learned all his tricks, and I learned how to play all of his solos, and I kind of sang like him and everything. So they eventually, 30 years later, the drummer Fido heard me playing on a show that somebody sent him a video of me playing, and he said, I want that guy in the band.
I want that guy in the band, yeah.
Yeah, so in the year 2000, it was January 2000, I joined that band, and I did it until December of 2005. It was like 6 complete years. We recorded an album called Friends in the Can that has like a bunch of iconic people on the album also.
Yes.
Taj Mahal is on the record. Walter Trout is on the record. John Lee Hooker is on the record. And I played on all the tracks.
That's incredible, right?
Yeah, that was a great run.
Yeah.
I'll tell you another thing was that happened was I got a call from the manager, and he said to me, "Remember the recording of On the Road Again we did in Sweden?" I said, "Well, yeah." He said, "Well, there's this European student film that wants to use that track." I said, "Great." He said, "I'll send you a couple of $100." I said, "Fine." But he didn't tell me that the European student film starred Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman.
Boom.
Boom, right? So,
but
just like,
isn't it amazing how that happens?
I had to rent the movie to find out it was actually
used. Well, it's kind of like, I forget the composer's name. I was just watching an interview that was done with him. I think he's possibly from Europe, but the eyewitness news theme, right? Yeah.
That
comes from the movie Cool Hand Luke.
Oh, wow.
And I guess the creator, one of the folks involved with the creation of that whole eyewitness news, happy talk sort of format, heard that and loved that section. It's just one section of the movie where they're working on the railroad or what have you. And that iconic sound, that theme comes on. It was like underscoring music. Loved it so much. They approached the composer to say, we want to use that on our ABC owned and operated stations as the eyewitness news theme. Oh. And ever since, with its various updated versions, different instrumentation, different arrangements, that theme came out of that movie, Cool Hand Luke. So whenever you hear, especially Channel 7 in New York, Channel 7 in LA, Chicago, the ABC stations, and you hear the eyewitness news theme and iterations of it, elements of that came from Cool Hand Luke, the movie. And that's how that happens.
I know. I think Willie Dixon had one of his songs in that movie.
It's just amazing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Willie Dixon did have a song in that movie.
It's just incredible. In addition to what we're talking about with Canned Heat, which of course, like you said, an iconic experience and a fantastic experience for you. Back in 73, while jamming with Johnny Winter, we could talk about Johnny at the Record Plant Studio in New York, as I mentioned, you caught the attention of Alice Cooper's band.
Yeah.
And you were asked to sit in on their session, and you played a 12-bar opening to the song Working Up a Sweat of the Muscle of Love album, but you weren't paid or given credit for the work, huh?
No, not at all.
So when you hear that now, folks, he's on it.
they actually kicked me out of the studio You know, I'll tell you.
These stories are amazing. War, which everybody, it's still, it's still out there. If you even Google your name, it still says you're with war.
Yeah.
You're going to have to update all
Well,
that.
I'm actually with another guy. I just did an album with a guy named Mark Joseph from the Minneapolis area.
Oh,
and this guy is a super talent. And you'll probably be hearing from Mark Joseph.
Oh,
fantastic. In fact, I'll be doing the Minnesota State Fair with him coming up in a couple of weeks.
Oh, cool. That's fantastic. Yeah, great to have him as a guest as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Mark is he's one of the hardest working guys I've ever met. I mean, if he's not playing, he's promoting, he's managing, he's constantly on top of it all.
That's incredible. So, this incredible opportunity, Johnny Winter again, New York, you caught the attention of Alice Cooper's band, and then tell us what that was like. I mean, that's incredible.
Well, it all happened. My friend Mark, he had a 1958 Gibson Flying V guitar, and he said, we're going to go to the record plant because Johnny Winter would love to play this guitar. So we go to the record plant. He bangs on the door, and the guy's going, "It's a closed session," and he holds up the guitar, and he says, "Johnny Winter wants to play this." And the guy looked at it and he goes, "Oh, okay," and he let us in. So Johnny was looking at the guitar, and my friend Mark says, "I'll let you play the guitar if you let my friend Stanley play harmonica with you." So Johnny says, "Well, okay." Johnny was a little out of it. He must have drank too much, did too much of this, too much of that. So we're in the studio, and he's playing. I'm blowing harp, and I see him sitting on a stool, and he's rocking, playing. Next thing you know, he keeps rocking and falls flat on his face on top of the guitar. I mean, the strings are going boing boing all over the place.
I hope they were nylon and not steel.
Oh, they were definitely steel string.
Oh boy!
And I'll never forget Johnny saying, "Man, you play great harp." And I'm laying here on the floor. But what happened was there was these guys from Alice Cooper's session. They were witnessing this, and they said, "Hey, you want to come over and sit in on our session?" So I said, "Sure." So they cue up a track, and I played it like they just said, "Play something to this," and I played a whole 12 bar off the top of my head introduction to a song, and they said, "Oh, that sounds good." And then the producer said, "Hey, kid, are you in the union?" I said, "Well, no." He said, "Well, you're not allowed to be here." He said, "I'm gonna have to ask you to leave." So I left, not knowing that they were going to keep it or it was going to be on a hit record. It was like a couple of weeks later, I'm driving in my car and I turn on the AM radio, and the disc jockey goes, "Here's Alice," and blaring out of the speakers was me. I went, "Holy crap." I couldn't believe it,
When that happens, there's no way to get credit or anything, is there? Post doing the work?
I guess if I was smarter in the business end of the thing, I probably could have went after him. But time went by, and it just,
But it was a live and learn experience.
Yeah, well, it kind of happened again with Black Sabbath.
That's right, because you were involved with that too. Tell us about that story with Black Sabbath.
I got a call from an engineer friend of mine who was engineering.
Such a nice guy. That's what it is,
Yeah, that's my big problem.
You just love playing. And that's.
I said I love to play no matter what.
Right. The whole business side is.
Tell you the truth, through my whole life, I really never gave a shit about money. I seem to have always been able to live a fine life, and not on very little money.
Well, see, and this is one of the reasons why you're one of the most revered in the industry in America, if not in an international format, it's because people know you didn't go into it for the love of money. You went into it for the love of the art, the love of playing, the love of music. So people know when they hear you that they are getting you. They're getting you, doing you, sharing you with everybody, and you're giving 110%, and you're not in it. You know, if the money comes and the accolades come and the awards and rewards, all of that come, that's the icing on the cake. But that's not why you went into it, and it's not what drives you. And I think that's rare, unique, and I think it's pretty cool, Stan.
Oh, thank you.
It should really be.
What I kind of found out that I have, you know, I mean, unknowingly, I didn't know I had it. It was the I've been like kind of like validated with the there's an old saying, either you got it or you ain't got it. And people like Willie Dixon, Tom Scott, Jimmy Smith, Ruth Brown, they all said to me, man, you got it. And I didn't know, but like,
so they were telling you early on that you've got the goods.
Yeah, but I didn't understand.
Did you not trust yourself? Did you need to prove yourself more?
Always.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was doing a show with War, and after the show, there was this big biker dude, and he came charging at me like a raging maniac, and he's going, "Man, you made me cry," and I'm going, "Oh shit, I'm sorry." He goes, "No, man." He says, "What you played just touched me so much, it made me cry." And he just like hugged me.
It's the best, isn't it?
And I said to myself, wow, you know,
that's what it's all about.
That's what it's about.
It's really what it's, you know, that's a story and a mentality that really folks just starting out in the business, younger folks just starting right out, should hear, to know. It's the way to be, you know, the way you've lived.
Yeah.
In a very difficult and demanding and unpredictable industry too, music.
You see, there's another thing about the either you got it or you ain't got it. You can't learn it and you can't buy it. It's either you got it or you ain't got it. You know, I was doing a show with, we were opening the show for Carlos Santana at the Chase Arena in San Francisco. And Carlos calls me up to play. And soon as I started playing, he came up to me and he starts rubbing my stomach, you know. He's looking, going, wow, man. And then after I finished playing this whole chorus on his microphone in front of 18,000 people, I thought he was going to give me a high five. He just grabbed me and gave me this big bear hug.
Wow.
And I went home. That was like a dream come true.
That's something that, you couldn't have scripted that, right?
Yeah, that was an actual dream, because even when I was young, I would go to these concerts, and I always dreamt that I would get called up by the big star and grab his microphone and just fill the room up with a harmonica, you know. And
so this is a dream you actually had.
Yeah,
it came true.
Yeah, many years later. I mean, here Santana is like, he's an icon.
Oh, absolutely, yes, yeah.
Yeah, that moment was. Unfortunately, my daughter was there. She got it on video. I'll never forget that.
No, you're never going to forget something like that. I had something similar. It wasn't in the music world. It was in television. And, you know, growing up with television and working in broadcast television and radio, there was a moment at one time, and we have photos of it, professional photos, where Florence Henderson sat on my lap.
Oh.
And I had my arms around her and I was holding her up because we were in a situation where the photographer wanted everybody to squeeze together. So we were with Sonny Grasso, you know, Sonny Grasso, of course, who was the New York police detective that the movie The French Connection was patterned after. That's Sonny Grasso. He was a friend.
Popeye Doyle.
Yes, he was there at the Scalar event, and Florence and they had us all squeezed together, and Florence just plopped right on my right. I remember it well, the right one. And I'm holding her up, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm holding up Mrs. Brady from the Brady Bunch. Suddenly you get reverted back to an 11-year-old child, when these moments happen, but you never forget them. They're just incredible. Not. Yeah. And if what you do makes people feel, like you said, this guy came up, you made me cry. And at first you thought that was a bad thing, and realized actually that was a good thing, because you reached him at a level where maybe he isn't always reached or expresses outwardly, and you nailed it. And it was not even an intention. It was something that was automatic for you. And when whatever it is that you do in life, if you touch people and inspire them and reach them at those levels of depth, it's a really cool thing, plugging into the human condition. And in this case, using your artful and masterful ways and music to reach people, make them feel good about life, right?
Yeah, well, that's what Willie Dixon saw in me. When he heard me play, the first thing he said to his wife is, give him our home phone number. He said to me, Willie Dixon said to me,
once you get that,
he said, man, I was driving a limo. This is a whole crazy story. I picked up Willie Dixon to go to the Grammy Awards, and
did you really?
And what happened was we were at the Shrine Auditorium waiting to get up into the parking lot, and Willie says, "Well, play something on your harmonica." So I started playing a song, and he stops and he goes, "Man, you must be playing that thing a long time." I said, "Well, what makes you say that?" He says, "You got the tone." He says, "You can't get that tone unless you've been playing a long time." And then he said, "Give this boy our phone number." And he says, "You're welcome to come to my house anytime." And so from that time on, we became like best friends. And he featured me on a movie soundtrack that he was doing called Ginger Ale Afternoon, which eventually became a record album. And that all came about. It's God works in mysterious ways. What happened was I dropped Willie off at the Grammy Awards. So I used to play at the after the Grammy Awards party with a country band. But I did it like 5-6 years in a row. So I knew all about the Grammys. I parked the car. It was raining. I opened up the door and I looked down on the ground, and sitting there at my feet was an all access pass. I don't know how somebody lost it and how I found it. I just put that on and went backstage. So I'm backstage with Willie and Junior Wells and B.B. King and Albert King, and there was a bunch of other guys there that I already knew. So I wasn't out of place. So nobody questioned me being back there. I had the all access pass. The only one that questioned it was Willie Dixon's manager. He said, how did he get here?
How did he get here?
Yeah. So I said, well, I know people, He's going, who is this guy? So then after the show, I bring Willie to the Biltmore Hotel for the after party. To get into the Biltmore, they have these little buttons that go on your suit jacket. And every year, the little button is a different color. But I had a box that had like 10 of those buttons. They were all different colors. So I picked one up that looked almost like the color of that year, put it on my suit jacket, walked in, sat down and had dinner with him. And then again, the manager's going, who is this guy? How did you do that? And, cool. It's just, and me and Willie, we became like best friends from like 86 to I was actually at the hospital when he passed away in 1992. Mm-hmm. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
but we became buddies. You know, I'm still friends with his family. In fact, I'm wearing a Chess Records.
Ah, yeah. Let's see that.
Yeah, there's Chess Records. Oh, and check out the back. Can you see Willie Dixon back there?
If you bend down a little bit, we see it. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, that's.
We see the stairs too. That's cool. Does that go up? Does the stairs go up to the penthouse?
Yes, yes. Actually, this is a kind of a weird place I live in.
Do you when you look out the window, do you see the beach?
No, I'm actually 6 blocks away, which
In
is
Venice Beach.
which is actually a good thing because
Yeah.
you don't want to be living on that boardwalk.
No. Because that's like 24/7 of.
It's craziness.
And you got this cool photo on the wall behind you, which you told me about. Tell the audience. Yeah, see it?
Well, there was a movie that premiered at the Chinese Theater called Hail, Hail, Rock and Roll. And that photo hung in the lobby of the Chinese Theater. And my younger brother worked on the crew that set up the premieres. And when the premiere was over, somebody just kind of left that big photo behind.
And it's the one behind you on the right, on the wall behind, there.
Yeah, that guy right there. And
tell them who that is.
Well, that's Bo Diddley.
Yes.
So what happened was I got my brother gave it to me, and I was doing some shows with Willie Dixon and Bo Diddley.
Yeah.
So I brought the picture to the show to have Bo sign it. So Bo looks at it and goes, "Man, that's my picture. Give it to me." I said, "Well, it's a picture of you, but it's my picture now." He said, "I just want you to sign it." He's going, "I don't want to sign it." So then Willie Dixon jumps in and goes, "Hey, Bo, sign it." And Bo went, "Okay." And so he put his signature on it. And behind, in the backside of it, he's got his home address and his telephone number. He says, "Just send it to me."
And then he'll sign it. Is that what you did?
Well, obviously I didn't send it to him, but
he signed it then.
Yeah, he signed it, right? Yeah. Well, Willie Dixon made him sign it.
Because if you sent it, you might not have got it back.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have gotten it back.
He would have kept that one.
Oh yeah, he definitely wanted that one. It's amazing how I ended up with it. It hung in the Chinese Theater at the premiere of Hail, Hail, Rock and Roll.
That is incredible. In '75, just rewinding a little bit, you moved to California. It was time to move out west, and you played in the band that brought Ruth Brown's return to fame. Tell us about that. What was the decision to move, to the West Coast? What brought you out there?
Well, I've lived on the West Coast before when I was younger. Before I was drafted, actually. And I always knew I wanted to live in California.
Yeah.
But after I got out of the Army in '69, I was playing with a rock band, and then I was really interested in jazz. There was a little jazz club on Long Island, Seaford, Long Island.
Seaford, next to Syosset.
No, South Shore.
Yeah. Well, that's right. The Seaford Oyster Bay Expressway, and then if you go to the north, it is Syosset, and the south is Seaford. And Route 135 takes you north and south, right?
So this was all the way south on Miracle
So you were
Road.
in Seaford, yeah.
Yeah. So this little club was called Sonny's Place. It was owned by a guy named Sonny Meyerowitz. And all the great jazz New York players played at Sonny's Place.
Yeah.
And so I used to hang out there. Sonny Meyerowitz, he just liked the way I played harmonica. And so sometime during the night, he would tell the band, let this kid, come up and play a tune with you guys. So I got to play with guys like Roy Haynes and Ron Carter and Kenny Barron and all these great New York jazz players that I would do like a jazzy blues something, with them. like you know, stuff like that. You just kind of jazz standards.
Really nice, my friend. Yeah.
So anyway, one night I was up there. There was a guy. He had a band called the Orioles. His name was Sonny Till, and Sonny Meyerowitz said, told Sonny Till, let this kid come up and play a blues with you. So I did that, and sitting out in the audience was Ruth Brown. She was sitting there, and she was with a guy named Bobby Forrester. He's an organ player.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew Bobby from high school bands around New York. I think I met him at a place called Club Under the L in Sunnyside Gardens. In Queens. And he was a great organ player. So he was playing sitting there with Ruth. So they after I played, they said, "Why don't you come sit with us at the table?" I'm talking to Bobby Forrester, and Ruth. At that time, she was working as a domestic woman in Deer Park, Long Island.
Deer Park, yes.
She was a maid. She
Wow.
said to me, "I want to get my career back again." She said, "I can't be a maid anymore." She said, the other day I was cleaning somebody's toilet and my songs were playing on their radio.
Right.
Could you imagine that?
Yeah.
So she said, we're going to pack up. We're going to put a little group together and we're going to California. And she said, if you want to come along, you'd be welcome to be in the band with her, because she was R&B, she was rhythm and blues. And so she was another person that kind of like validated me. She said, "Wow, you play soulful, So
that's so cool.
So in January of '75, I packed up and moved to California. I left my girlfriend, I left the band, and started hanging out with Ruth Brown and Bobby Forrester. We used to play all these like inner city jazz clubs. Me and Bobby would be the only two white guys in there, but it was okay because we played, and they were fun places to play. I'll tell you that.
You also got into the world of of playing on television themes, film scores. Mike Post was one of the most iconic. Quantum Leap and the Rockford Files, Renegade. My name is Earl. This is Mike Post, one of the greatest, composers for television.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll tell you how that all came about.
Very cool.
Working with Ruth Brown, she was well connected. She was friends with Red Fox. Everybody knew her because she was the biggest star on Atlantic Records. They used to say Atlantic Records was the house that Ruth built. She had all these hit records in the 50s until she decided that she didn't want to go on the road anymore and she wanted to raise her kids. So Atlantic just dropped her off the rolls, but she wanted to get it all back. So we came out to California. So I heard that Jimmy Smith had a nightclub, and went down to Jimmy Smith's club, and I asked Jimmy, "Hey, can I sit in? Do a blues with him and everything." So I was playing with Jimmy Smith, and Ruth Brown stands up and goes, "That's my harmonica player." And then Jimmy, he grabs my arm and he goes, "No, he's my harmonica player now." So working with Ruth Brown and Jimmy Smith, I got to work with guys like Herb Jeffries and Arthur Prysock. I played at the Parisian Room with all these jazz guys. So the TV and film composers, they always got those jazz musicians to play on their soundtracks because they're let's face it, they're professional musicians and they play better than anybody else. So I got included. So so then I started working at the '80 Olympics. I think the first session I did with Mike Post was a theme music for Wilma Rudolph.
And there's
so
Mike Post.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's Mike Post.
Hmm.
So then Mike was coming up with TV shows, and he would call me up, and he'd send over a cassette tape of just a rhythm section with, and he'd say, play to this rhythm section and then show me what you have.
What you have.
Yeah. So can you come to my studio the next day?
I can hear in my head the harmonica in the Rockford Files because it was so prominent in that TV theme.
Well, I got to tell you the truth. The original theme was recorded by a harmonica player named Tommy Morgan. Tommy was the number one harmonica player here in Los Angeles. Played on thousands of TV shows, everything. What happened was after the series ended, James Garner wanted to come back, and we did a series of 2-hour movie of the weeks, and we did about a dozen of them. And that's when Mike Post called me to recut the theme and to play on all the 2-hour movies. So that's the
you want to play a little?
That was the rock. Oh, it was then it was, the theme was actually that was it,
Da, 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 da,
yeah,
da,
right.
da, 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 yeah.
And then that iconic theme. That was it. It was a part. It was written out.
That's so cool. It's one of those iconic themes that stands with us. We've talked a lot with session musicians and others about some of the music through the years, and especially with television and film, and some of the iconic themes from TV shows of all kinds and from movies that still stick with us today. When you hear the theme, you know exactly what show it is. You don't necessarily have that so much anymore. There aren't these longer, more involved TV themes like there used to be. I'm trying to think of even a TV theme right now for a show that isn't just something like boing, boing, and then the show's on. They go right into the theme. There used to be all this great music, and the credits would roll and the themes would play out, and the people would be singing along and bouncing around to the theme. And
I did a theme.
Cool to be a part of that.
It was. I did the theme to a show called Renegade. That was a '90s theme. That was another case where Mike would send over a cassette tape, and he'd say, "Come and play something to that," and it like covered 2 harmonicas. And then there was on the screen they would show the Indian guy. So I came up with an idea, sort of an Indian, American Indian theme. Like, let's see. That was the theme when they showed the Indian,
right?
The Native American, I should say.
Yes, right, exactly. What do you do how do you? I'd love to talk about how you keep yourself tuned, how you prepare when you do have to play. Do you have a certain ritual? Is there a rhythm and a rhyme? Are there things that you do vocally breathing exercises, certain things you do to be
Well,
able to do it? Because sometimes, you know, you're tasked with having to play in a studio or wherever for a long time, and that's putting out a lot of air and a lot of energy and a lot of movement. How do you practice, get ready? What's your preparation?
well, you know, I got musical instruments all over the place. Let's see, like
Because we're talking
like a,
harmonica, but your saxophone and everything
yeah, right.
else.
There's a sax, flute. So talk about Mike Post. Here's an album called the LA Blues Alliance. This was produced by none other than, you see Mike Post there?
Yeah, we see it.
Yeah. What Mike did one day was he calls up 9 of his favorite studio musicians, and he said, I want to make a record that has nothing to do with a TV show. So he calls up 9 of us, some of his favorite players. Let me see if I can get this back together again. And we show up to the studio, and we're all looking at each other like, why are we here? So Mike just says, I want everybody to come up with 2 ideas. Who wants to go first? And so we all came up with 2 ideas and put it down. Like in 6 days' time, we had like 17 songs recorded. And the album is it's a fantastic album.
Yes.
It has Sonny Landreth on slide guitar. It has Snuffy Walden. It has Keb Mo. It has Mike Finnegan, J.R. Robinson, one of the world-renowned drummers.
Yes.
Bob Glob on bass. A blues singer, Amy Keys, who sang with Herbie Hancock, and you know, and me, and Mike, and so we did one album. We played one show at the House of Blues on Sunset Boulevard, and that was it. It just, nobody got paid anything. Mike just took everything.
That's
kind
incredible.
of, yeah. Nobody wants to work with Mike Post anymore.
These are amazing stories that we're hearing that are probably different than what people would expect about how it really works. It sort of kind of makes you think of what the actors and actresses and writers are sort of fighting for right now on the
Absolutely.
picket lines as they're trying to coordinate the future for themselves too, and being compensated, because the majority of people in the industry there don't make the kind of money that, you know, the few do. And so yeah, it's really fascinating when you hear these kinds of stories. It surprises people as well. Hey, we've got some terrific shots I want to show our viewers, and we welcome everybody. Hey, gang, if you're just joining us, I'm your host, Jim Masters, and we are live worldwide here on the Jim Masters Show Live series. A very special guest, Stan the Baron Behrens, joining us from his home in Venice Beach, California. He's an iconic musician. He's played with some of the best. He's one of the best himself, and he's sharing these really special, rare, exclusive stories about his career and how it all came together, and people he's played with, and things he's been a part of, and things he's working on. In that vein, Stan, we have some great photos here. Tell us about this one here.
That one, that was taken at the Topanga Blues Festival. I think it was 1988. In the middle with the guitar, that's guitar player named Cash McCall. He's one of Chicago Chess Records studio musicians and songwriter, singer. He was a house of fire. And of course, there's Willie Dixon and me playing harmonica. I played harmonica and saxophone on that show. and that show we backed up all these Chicago blues greats: Otis Rush, Pine Top Perkins, Valerie Wellington. There was let's see, who else was on that show? Snooky Pryor. It was a great Chicago blues, real deal. There's definitely real deal stuff going on there.
Real stuff. Yeah. Here's another cool shot. Look at this one.
That's when I was actually in the Army, stationed at Fort Bragg. That's me in the middle. That's the band called The Time Approximate, where we played at the Pink Pussycat 6 nights a week. My first sergeant hated me. I had no business being in the Army.
So what year was this, Stan?
That's actually taken in 1968.
This is in 68. Wow.
Yeah, that's me in the middle. I wish I still had that shirt. But
I was gonna say, I was looking at all the shirts, the outfits, what everybody's wearing, the hairstyles. It's kind of cool. Some of that is coming back. The retro is people love those looks. It's coming back. That's cool. Look at this shot, Stan.
Yeah. Oh,
that's something.
That was actually taken at the Guitar Center on Sunset Boulevard, where they were inducting Willie Dixon and Bo Diddley into the Rock Hall of Fame at the Guitar Center. There's like a rock, sort of like what they have at the Chinese theater. Your handprints in the cement.
Yes.
They have that. Right. So I, Willie wanted me to come because we played there with Bo and Willie.
That is so amazing. Really. That's a terrific photo.
Yeah.
It's another great one. Look at this.
Oh, that's when I was working with Jimmy Smith, the world's greatest jazz organ player.
Yeah.
That was I tell people that was many hairs ago.
A little like John Oates of Hall & Oates a little bit there. Yeah. It's a cool look, actually.
Oh, well, I was in good shape. I'm still in good shape. This is another
you
thing.
Are, yeah.
I still wear the same size clothes now that I did then.
Now, who can say that? And who could say that, especially after the last couple of years, we've all been, where we were home by our refrigerators in our houses.
Well, I never did that.
Yeah, you kept. Yeah,
I was out. I was out every day
getting fresh air, and
I would walk miles along the shoreline.
That's what I do. Yeah, I just love being by the water and walking.
Right, I didn't wear a mask. I didn't get vaccinated. I didn't follow any of the rules. I'm still that way. I don't follow the rules.
He doesn't follow the rules.
To me, if it doesn't make sense in my head, I won't go there. And there's so many things that don't make sense to me.
The world is a crazy, funky place lately.
I say common sense is not common anymore.
Here's another cool shot. Look at this one.
Yeah, that was at the Blues Festival. There's Cash McCall behind me. That's Otis Rush, the originator of "I Can't Quit You, Babe." Willie Dixon wrote the song, but the original version was recorded by Otis. What a voice that man has!
Yeah,
and an iconic blues guitar player. Played left-handed, strung like a right-handed guitar, just turned it upside down.
That's amazing, isn't it?
And the bass player,
the
bass player that's on this with us is a guy named Gerald Johnson. He's another lefty who plays the bass. He plays a left-handed bass strung upside down. You look at it and you go, wait a minute, I can't figure that out. But Gerald Johnson played with on all those Steve Miller hits and Dave Mason hits back in the late 60s, early 70s.
Yes, that's right.
Yes. Yeah. Gerald. Oh, that's with Ruth Brown. That was taken probably around 1980.
That's around 80. That's a great shot as well.
This is Oh, this is with Barry Goldberg, from the Electric Flag. There's James Gatson playing drums, who was with the Watts 103rd Street Band. That song "Express Yourself."
Yes.
The bass player is a guy we call him Mark Pocket Goldberg, who just left town just the other day. And a couple of really great blues guitar players. The guy on the left is Robert Lieberman. I have no idea what happened to him, now I'm drawing a blank on the other guy's name. It'll come to me.
It'll come to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, of course, there's me over there on that side. But me and James Gatson are we're still very close friends. I don't play with Barry Goldberg much anymore. He just played a show at the Write-Off Room actually last night. He's using a different harmonica player, which is okay by me. I spent my years with Barry.
Yeah, absolutely. There's another great shot.
Oh, well, that's in the middle is John Densmore, the drummer of the Doors.
Yes.
Next to him, holding the bass guitar, is Chris Novoselic, the bass player from Nirvana. Next to him is Robbie Krieger, of course, the guitar player of the Doors. And on that end is Ed Roth, great keyboard player. Next to John Densmore is Micah Nelson, Willie Nelson's son.
Mm-hmm.
For the life of me, I can't remember the guy with the long blonde hair, his name. He's a percussionist.
Yeah.
And that's me on the other end. We just did a show at the Wilton Theater. But that was like playing with the Doors.
It's incredible.
Yeah, how cool is that? You get to play with the Doors, even though, there's another band with Barry Goldberg. This years ago there was a band called the Electric Flag, and that starred Barry Goldberg and Nick Gravenitis. That on the right side of the picture is Harvey Mandel. Who's a great guitar player. He also played with Can Heat. The drummer is drummer Gary Malaber, who played with Dave Mason and he played drums on Moondance by Van Morrison. He's the drummer on that. Next to him is Rick Reed. That's me in the middle, and Zach Wagner down below. Yeah, Nick Gravenitis, Nick and Barry, they're from the Electric Flag. Back then, they had Mike Bloomfield playing guitar.
That's incredible.
But there was a band. I did an album. Willie produced it. Billy Mitchell on the left, Cash McCall, and Willie Dixon, Chucky Burke, Welton Geit, and myself. That was a hell of a band.
What was the name?
Wait a minute. The record is called the Stan Behrens Willie Dixon Project. To tell you the truth, it's never been released. It's still sitting unreleased. I never let it out. For some reason.
Do you think you will? Now that you've shown it, everybody's going to want it.
Well, if everybody wants it, I'll get it out there. I'll get them to it. It's kind of hard to sell CDs now.
It's a totally different. Unless you're in person at a signing or at a, one of those con shows or something, then it can be. Look at this shot.
Oh, that was with the War of the Band. That was taken right in Venice Beach.
That's right there.
Yes, that's the iconic Venice symbol right there at the end of Windward Avenue. Mm-hmm. It's like right there, centerpiece of Venice Beach. We had between 5,000 and 10,000 people at that show.
Wow.
Yeah, that was so great for me because all my Venice friends, they said, wow, we had no idea who you are, because they see me every day. I'm
That's
out on my bicycle all the time.
yes, you love your Schwinn, huh?
I do. I,
Yes. Did you have one as a kid?
oh, of course.
Yes,
I
everybody.
learned to actually I learned to ride a bicycle on my sister's Schwinn. It was a big girl's bicycle.
Did
You
you
know,
have a banana seat bike ever?
uh, no,
Yeah, with the higher
no.
handlebars and sort of
I
that
I did.
banana seat.
I think I had a. I think I had a small bike like that. But
Yeah.
what I did was I took apart my father's lawnmower. I put an engine on it.
Oh.
I
That's cool, huh?
I put the
Boy,
motor. Oh,
that tops what we used to do.
oh yeah,
We used to take the clothespins, they use for laundry, the wood ones, and the baseball cards, and put them in the spokes. So when the wheels would turn,
oh sure, it would sound like a motor.
remember that?
It,
Well, you
of
actually
course,
took your father's lawnmower
mower
motor.
apart. Yeah,
What
and I
did he
mounted.
say? Where the
Well,
hell's the mow? He's trying to mow the lawn and start it. Nothing happens.
it
Where's
didn't go over
Stanley?
well. Uh, that thing used to go like about 30 miles an hour, no
It's like
brakes,
a
no
mini
lights.
moped or something in
Uh,
a way.
the,
Yeah.
yeah, I had a string for a throttle.
This was in
Uh,
Massapequa?
yeah,
Yeah.
out on Long Island.
Wow.
We used to do crazy stuff when we were kids. There was no warning labels. I
You didn't have TikTok and all this internet and all
No, I
these
did
things.
crazy
It's
stuff. I
just
climbed to the top of the drive-in theater screen and walked across the top of the theater
yeah,
screen.
I mean that's incredible because that's like a thin,
Yeah, yeah,
that's the one
yeah.
in Massapequa?
It was in Farmingdale.
Farmingdale.
It was, I think it was, no, I think it was
Was it the one in
Bethpage.
Massapequa too, or no, at one time?
I think there might have been yeah, I think
There
there
used to
was
be a big one in Bayshore.
yeah,
All along Sunrise Highway. There
yeah.
was a lot of different
Well, this
ones.
was on some, no,
Sunrise Highway.
this was on Hempstead Turnpike.
Oh, the turnpike there, yeah.
Yeah, it was Hempstead
Or-
Turnpike. I remember that one. It was,
Right.
I think it was Bethpage Drive-In.
Ah, yes. Yes.
crazy,
Bethpage.
crazy stuff that we
Well,
did
we
when.
mentioned the Schwinn, but you also have a car that you love.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
I bought that car from my friend's sister. It was 10 years old. She sold it to me for $500.
Wow.
Uh,
Tell
and
the audience what it is.
well, it's a 1969 Oldsmobile Cutlass convertible.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a 350 V8 engine, and
350. Yeah. White walls and everything. It's beautiful color.
oh yeah, that's the original color of the car.
Yeah. Cars
Oldsmobile,
used to have more color than they do these days.
yeah,
Yeah.
that color was called turquoise mist.
Very nice.
And I've been driving that car almost 45 years now.
Have you really?
Uh, Me and that car, we've lived our lives together. When the car
Yeah.
was sick and almost dying, so was I.
Really?
Yeah, most people thought I was going to die. Everybody that had what I had are dead now, like Richie Haywood from Little Feat,
Oh, yes.
Greg Allman from the Allman Brothers, uh, David Crosby. I had end stage liver cirrhosis, liver cancer, and hepatitis C, all together, and
Like I
I
said,
was
when you do something, you do it 110%, Stan.
yeah. So they actually threw a farewell benefit for me back in, I think it was 1979. I mean 1909. It was 2007. That's when it was. 2007. They threw the farewell benefit, and so then I went on what they call interferon ribavirin cocktail for 48 weeks. It's a miserable cure for hepatitis C. But it did work. Got rid of the Hep C, but it made me worse. So then the only thing that grew on my liver was cancer.
Uh,
So So then I was going for chemotherapy on the cancer that was on my liver, and then they almost killed me with the chemo, which
Chemo can be tough.
and which eventually pushed me all the way up to the number one guy on the liver waiting list. And in 2010, I got a new liver, and coordinating me getting restored, I restored the car too. So we so we both got new lives.
Both got new lives, new everything, huh?
Yeah,
New hearts,
yeah,
livers, and wheels.
The car was totally rebuilt, just like it came out of the showroom. And I got a new liver and a whole new life. And when I recovered from the liver transplant, in 2011, they asked me to join the war band. That's so that everything just came back. You know,
that's incredible.
I'm a lucky dude.
You were very blessed. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Who tell us this?
Well, that's the night that I went to the Grammy Awards with Willie Dixon. That's Willie's wife, Marie. I picked Willie up at his house. Wait, there's something else I got to show you.
Cool. I love this on the spot exclusive stuff.
Let's see, right here, in People Magazine. There's a
Leona Helmsley
of People Magazine. There's a whole story on Willie Dixon, and in the story,
and look at the cover with Leona Helmsley. Guilty, guilty, guilty.
Yeah. What's the date on this?
You sort of fade. You faded to black there. Now you're back.
Yeah. Hold on.
That's it.
So anyway, this whole story
the spirit of Leona shut it off.
So the story in People Magazine is how Willie gets into the limousine.
Wow.
And the driver wanted to talk about the blues, and so they told the whole story of how we met, and then they go into Willie's life story, and towards the end of his life story, they mentioned after like 6 or 7 decades of making music, he comes up with the soundtrack to a new movie called Ginger Ale Afternoon. And it said at the end of the article, it said, at the premiere of the movie, sitting at his side, Stan Behrens, I was 42 years old then, harmonica player, featured performer on the soundtrack, who drove Willie to the Grammys a couple of years before. So I became like the good old guy that makes good, you know.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So I made it into People.
Your stories are phenomenal.
People Magazine.
You made it into People Magazine. How cool is that?
It was pretty cool.
That's very cool. Here's another cool shot. Look at this one.
Oh yeah, that was. I was kind of a happening guy playing with the war band, you know.
You still are, my friend. What do you mean was?
Well, I'm not with war anymore.
No, but you're doing your own thing. Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
you're not with war, but now you're with peace.
That's right.
You're at peace.
Well, I was a big contradiction. See, my military beret with a peace symbol on it.
Yeah, that is when you think about
that,
right?
Right. I've been wearing that on shows. I think
it's sort of like a trademark.
Yeah. It is kind of a trademark. Yeah, so yep, there it is.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, and we saw that. We showed it in the promotionals as well. There's the beret with the peace sign. I think your screen. Can you hear us, Stan?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Interruptions.
That's it. That's where was this taken?
I might have been taken at the Greek Theater.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's my buddy Albert Lee
on the guitar.
Yeah, iconic guitar player.
You guys together.
You know, I had a whole country western side of me also.
Yes, you did, which
you know,
some people may know about and some people may not, but that's really cool.
Yeah, I used to play shows with Dorsey Burnett, who's
Did you really?
uh, he goes way back. He's like one of the innovators of rockabilly music. It was Burnett and his brother Johnny Burnett, and Dorsey's son is Billy Burnett, who was playing with Fleetwood Mac, and Johnny Burnett has a son. His name was Rocky Burnett. So the two Burnett brothers had their sons Rocky and Billy, which is kind of crazy.
Isn't that something?
You know who else is in that picture? I think was James Burton, who played guitar on all the Ricky Nelson shows,
Ricky
Ozzy
Nelson.
and Harriet.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Oh yeah,
There you go. There. That's a cool hat.
I was working with a gal named Lacey J. Dalton, and those buttons on there were the backstage buttons for Willie Nelson's show, the album Me and Paul.
Oh wow.
I toured with Willie. We opened the show for Willie Nelson.
That's amazing. That's so cool.
I always had a bit of cowboy in me.
I was going to say, you sure did, huh?
Yeah, I was a Hopalong Cassidy fan when I was a little kid. I still like watching those Hopalong Cassidy movies.
You like watching westerns, all the westerns.
Absolutely, I love them.
Yeah, that's so cool. It really, really is. Did you want to play some stuff for us while you're there?
Oh, let's see. Things like things that nobody really does on a 10-hole diatonic.
Very nice. Anything else come to mind since we got you?
Let's see. What else comes
You're
to
in your
mind?
toy room there. I love you. Got everything all around you. It's cool.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Here, I'll play a little soprano sax here.
Ooh, that's beautiful. Tell us about the history of that sax. It's gorgeous.
This is an old Kahn soprano sax. It was made, I think, in 1932. It was from what they call the golden age of saxophones. Let's see what kind of a sound I can get out of it. Let me adjust the strap here. Kind of hard to just pick this up cold and play it.
But you're doing well.
Oh, well, a little bit of Harlem Nocturne.
Very nice, huh?
Something felt like it was sticking out, though. Yeah, sometimes you got to warm up a bit on these horns.
When did the sax come into your life?
Well, later on. Actually, I played flute before I played sax.
I love the flute. I just love the sound.
Yeah,
That's
that was my second instrument, was the flute. And then after that, people say, play. They ask me, I play flute, and they say, "Do you play sax?" And I would say, "Oh yeah." And I'll go out and find a saxophone and start playing.
you can never have enough sax.
Yeah, right. I've been working on that. My alto playing is much
And
better
flute and all of it as well. Yeah. Did you get into guitar at all?
No,
Piano, guitar?
but I play a little bit of piano.
The piano, yeah.
But yeah, I got a piano behind me here.
Yeah.
Let's see. You might be able to see it.
Oh, there it is. Oh, that's a beauty. Tell us about that one.
Oh, well, actually, I used to have one of those old ballroom upright grand pianos when I lived in the house when I was married, and after the wife redecorated the house, she said that piano has to go. So we bought this one here. It's a nice white console piano. It's kind of a cool sound, Let's see if I can play something on it.
I thought when you Stan, I thought you were gonna I thought the way you were setting it up, I thought you were going to say when she said that the piano has to go, you were given a choice between her going and the piano stayed.
No, that the old ballroom piano had to go, and the new more decorated to suit the house. The house had marble floors and glass block ballrooms, and it was a pretty much of a show place.
Nice place. You were going to start to play a little something. Did you want to play anything?
Well, no, I lost it.
It was there. It was just there. Yeah, it sounded like, what was that the start of?
I was going to play House of the Rising Sun.
That's what it sounded like. But that was nice. Just a little bit of it was.
See, to me, the piano is a tool. When I want to write something, because I know all about chord progressions and everything. Like, I studied music later on in life. So I studied the whole tonal system and 20th century techniques, play
because
something
like you said, you taught yourself pretty much in the beginning. Yeah.
Like a 20th century technique would be something like a 12-tone series scale.
Right.
Now I lost my chops, but
no, but still, it's.
So
I mean,
you come up with melodies that are unusual.
Do you write songs? Do you compose?
I do. I have a couple of things.
Do you like to do that?
Yeah, I have let's see. I have an original song on the Canned Heat record, the Friends in the Can record.
Right.
A song called "It Don't Matter." That I'm singing a bunch of stuff on that record. The guy standing behind me, I brought him in the band. The tall guy.
Oh yeah.
His name is Don Preston. Don played guitar with Mad Dogs and Englishmen. Don's one of my oldest California friends.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he played with Leon Russell and Joe Cocker.
Joe Cocker,
He was one of the guitar players on the concert for Bangladesh with George Harrison.
Oh yeah, right.
Oh yeah, he's an icon. Don Preston.
Do you ever get back to the East Coast?
Well, every now and then.
Still have family back east? Relatives?
Well, most of them either died or moved to Florida.
Yeah, that is the progression. Florida. The Florida thing, right? First, they're snowbirds 6 months up. So they do 6 months they come up north in the summer and the fall, and then go down in the winter and the spring. So when it's colder up north, they're down in warm and sunny Florida. And then when it's too hot there, they come up to visit everybody up north. Yeah. We have family in Florida as well.
Yeah, most of my immediate family has passed away.
Yeah.
mom and dad, and there was 6 of us all together.
6.
There was 3 guys and 3 girls. My older brother, the one that used to be the jockey, he ended up moving to the Philippines.
Did
He's
he
like,
really?
he's 87 years old. He's married to a 35-year-old Filipino girl.
Wow.
Wow. Hey, my older brother Ronnie, he's a trip. I'll tell you that.
He is, huh?
My sister Iris, she lives near Daytona Beach, Florida.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's 10 years older than me.
What town? What area? We know folks in that area too.
Okay, New Smyrna.
New Smyrna, sure. We
Yeah.
have folks that we know that are there too.
Yeah,
It's a great area. Yeah.
that's where my sister Iris lives there.
Do you go there at all?
I visited there last year, not even a year ago. But I spent a week with her.
Very nice.
Yeah,
That's
it was
really
great. And so,
are you playing live? Do you get to play live? Are you,
well,
in the LA area?
Yeah, I do. There's all kinds of things going on here. In fact,
Yeah.
My next thing, I got a few days. I'm playing in Deadwood, South Dakota.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm leaving August 4th.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm 4th to the 9th. I'm going to be in Deadwood, and then I'll be home for a little while, and then I'm going back to Minneapolis, and I'm playing the state fair for 12 days, and a couple of other shows.
Well, I'm sure you're going to knock them dead in Deadwood.
Oh yeah, I like Deadwood. It's a cool.
It is,
town.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very cool
There's
town.
so many great places. Everybody talks about, oh, there's nothing to do, nowhere to go. Just get the car or take a plane trip. And America is a beautiful country, and there's so many unique looks to it. And it's a big country. And I love when I get a chance, either when we're with, our family and friends, and we're going on holidays and vacations, or when I'm sent, with my professional work to places maybe that I hadn't been to before. And I always like to take the rental car, and we just go around and discover the nooks and crannies of the fantastic places. And it's just, there's so many wonderful places,
I've done a whole bunch of coast to coast trips by car.
I was going to say, not on the Schwinn.
No, not on the Schwinn, but by car. I've done that several times.
Done that and you probably did the New York to Florida trek too, the whole I-95. We've done that multiple times. Also
Seattle to Los Angeles. I've done
That's
that
a long one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever do Route 66?
Yeah.
Route 66.
My first trip to California with the folks, it was before Highway 40 was completed.
Yes.
It was Route 66.
Was Route 66. Your daughter's a musician as well?
Yeah. Oh, she's another one that whatever they said I got, she's got it, and it multiplied like 10 times.
Huh?
Oh, she's jaw-dropping talented. I should have posted a video of her. But look up Chloe Behrens, and to hear her sing is amazing.
That's incredible. What's the style like? What would you say?
She could say she actually can sing anything.
Everything, yeah.
She's just got. Well, let's put it this way: she was groomed from the womb. While she was still in the womb, I was teaching her like solfege and rhythm patterns. I wrote a little lullaby, and I put it on a 30-second tape loop and played it on my wife's stomach for like a half hour a day for months.
Did you really?
Yeah, so she heard me singing a nice melody, and when she was delivered, the doc pops her out and goes, "Here, she's yours." I sang it to her. She opened up her eyes and smiled at me.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so she was literally groomed from the womb. Singing is so easy for her to do that she actually thinks that anybody could do it, and so she kind of just gave it up.
Did she?
Yeah, she gave it up. But her voice is just amazing.
That's incredible. I
Yeah,
love
there's a few things on YouTube of her singing.
of her. Yeah,
Yeah, there's
that's
there's a
incredible.
there's a I got her a job doing a Christmas album with a big band orchestra, and they used three singers. They used Mel Torme's son, James Torme.
Oh, James, yeah.
Yeah, they used Ellis Hall. You know Ellis Hall?
Sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
and they used
Great
my daughter
selections.
Chloe.
And they
That
used
those,
your daughter.
yeah, and she just kills it.
You
She
know,
she uh, she she's doing like Jingle Bells and sounds like Ella Fitzgerald
oh,
doing
that's
it.
gotta be wow, really?
Yeah,
Love
yeah,
to hear that. Yeah, I'll check
what,
that out. Yeah.
yeah,
We love Christmas music too. Big on
oh
that.
yeah. Well, the album's called Jingle All the Way.
Oh yes, I have that. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, I have
Chloe's
that because
yeah.
we collect Christmas music here. Actually, I have
Oh, Jingle All the
thousands
Way.
and thousands of albums and
She's
CDs.
singing four songs on that record.
That's her. Wow. Now I'm plugging it in and making the connection. What a small world it is, Stan.
I know.
The
She
Baron.
let me tell you, she hates that record.
Does she?
She won't let me play that for
Now, what do you
anybody.
think that is?
I don't know. You know,
Sounds great on it, huh?
I
Doesn't she?
you know, she's an she's an unusual girl. She grew up around the blues guys and everything. You know, when she was a kid, she was listening to Book of White and you know Son House and all these blues players.
So she goes old
And
school. Yeah.
yeah, when she turned 18, she decided to become a teenage hobo. She's hopped on more freight trains than Woody Guthrie.
Wow.
By the time she was 22, she'd been through all 50 states. She played music in the streets to make a living.
Wow. This is an amazing story.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
she has quite a story, but she won't tell it to anybody.
No, no. It's her story and
It's her.
it's
It'll come out of her someday, hopefully.
at some point when she's ready.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's now 32 years old. She
She sounds
produces.
so much older through her experience and wisdom. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, she's a
Old soul.
well.
Yeah.
She was like the valedictorian in her high school. She maintained a 4.3 grade point average until her senior year when she just said, "I got sick," and she decided
We need to.
she couldn't handle it.
Right. Right. You know, you've been doing this over 50 years plus, Stan, in the music industry. That is very,
Yeah.
very special. That's amazing. The stories that you've shared, and just, you know, a few of many, many, many stories. Have you ever thought of writing a book,
Well, you know,
a
the
memoir?
thought,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Could you imagine? Yeah.
just think of it this way. You are not the first person to say that. I hear that all the time. And, you know, I mean, I got to kick myself in the butt. Actually, when it comes to writing stuff down, I'm terrible. I
What would it be from, let's see, from the Bronx to Burbank, or from Massapequa to Malibu, or
yeah.
the story of
Try,
Stan the Baron?
you
Behrens.
know, I heard one musician. He was online with the guy that plays keyboard with Elton John,
Mm,
a guy named Kim Bullard,
mhm.
and he was saying, I just graduated Berkeley in Boston and
Yep.
everything, and I play all these keyboards and I got all this musical knowledge and you know, he says it's so hard for me to get a gig, and so I just kind of chimed in. I said, man, you got it easy. I said,
Yeah.
why don't you try to go through your life being a harmonica player?
Yeah.
And then Kim chimes in and goes, Stan, I got the most respect for your talent and abilities. And but yeah, I mean, how many people you could probably count on one hand guys that were successful harmonica players.
Right.
You know, like Paul Butterfield and Kim Wilson and
Yeah.
Charlie Musselwhite. You know, there's just a handful of guys.
Yes. Did you ever get into Well, you did, I guess, with the film and television, session work where your musicianship was used for um, commercials and jingles and other
Absolutely.
things. Yeah, I love that whole world, jingles and all.
Well,
Tell us about that.
okay. Well, let's see. I played on Armageddon. I played on. There's a bunch of movies that I played on. I'll tell you one story. I played on some Christopher Young soundtracks. I did the Rum Diary with Christopher Young. I was once on a session. It was a 90-piece orchestra, and there's, the whole studio is filled up with seats and music stands and books of music. And so I look over, I sit down, there's a seat that says harmonica on the book. And there's a gal next to me, her book said violin. So she sat down, she opened up her book, and I looked at that book and I said, whoa, it's nothing but thousands of notes. That page was black with notes. And I said to her, if my book looks like that, I'm leaving. Yeah. So I opened up my book, and there was like a nice melody line, and then there was all these lines that said ad lib.
Ad lib.
Yeah. And as soon as I saw ad lib, I went, oh, what a relief. She looked at my book and she said, you want to know something? If my book looked like that, I'd be leaving. She said, what are you going to play? I said, I don't know yet. It'll come to me when I hear it. And that put a lot of things in perspective. Mm-hmm. With all that musical training and sight reading that she could do, she couldn't do what I did.
Right.
And vice versa. I couldn't do what she did.
Right.
But each one of us was equally as important on the soundtrack. So, right. So that put a lot of things in perspective. I've done every kind of commercial. I did Sparklets Water, Coca-Cola, Jack in the Box, you name it.
Did you really?
Oh yeah, I've been on tons of commercials.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
With the harmonica.
With the harmonica, yeah. That's always been like my first.
It's always been the harmonica they wanted.
Yeah.
Because, like you say, there's not a lot of people where that's a specialty for them, right?
Yeah, right. Like let's see, who you could take a major diatonic harmonica and play like, let's see. It's a total minor melody.
Completely different feel to it, right?
Yeah.
When you hear it through that, right? Through harmonica.
It's like the theme to The Godfather.
What are some of the continued blessings and joys in your life, my friend, that keep you on that path of wanting to still be out there doing it? I mean, like I said, you've been doing it well over 50 years. You could easily say, with all the things you've done and all the people you've worked with and all the music you've made, I'm good. I'm going to put my feet in the sand there at Venice Beach. I'm just going to relax and chill. Would you still love it so much, as full circle this conversation?
Yeah.
You do it because you love it. You do it because it's in you. You do it because you want to and have to. Tell us about some of the joys and blessings in your life that keep you so stoked, inspired to want to do it.
Here I am. I'm 76 years old.
God bless you.
I'll be 77 in December. People ask me, are you going to retire? I said, I am retired. They said, what are you going to do when you're retired? I said, well, I'll just live by the beach and play music.
Right.
So there it is.
That's what you're doing, right?
That's what I do. So it's like I still get paid to do it. So I'm still doing it. I love to travel.
Yeah.
I love to play. I love to travel. And I'll just do it until I drop. I'm figuring I'm going to go till about 100.
That's a nice round.
I got 100 as a goal.
I like that. Hey, Norman Lear just turned 101.
Wow.
100. 101 Norman lyric. God bless him. As of
Yeah.
right now, isn't
Well,
that something? Tony
yeah.
Bennett was what, 96?
Yeah.
You
Tony.
know.
I met
So
him one time.
did you,
Yeah. He was a nice guy. Really
Tony?
nice.
Yeah, yeah. Class, right?
Classy
Elegance,
guy. Right.
class. Different way of yeah, sort of float in the room. Yeah. This was really fantastic, Stan. This is what we call a conversation. I know I say it often, but you know, interviews would be like 20 minutes in and out. Tell us about the book, the CD, the movie, and you know, that's it. We really like to have conversations that get people to, you know, if there's folks who are familiar with your work, now they got a deeper understanding of who you are and why you do what you do.
Yeah, I got
And
a bunch of record albums over there that I
I
played
noticed
on.
that. Yes.
You
You
want
got
me
to
to show you a couple of them?
sure. But yeah, like I say, we call these conversations. Hey, gang, if you enjoyed this episode, give us a like, drop a comment as well.
All these guys have a.
There you go. Give us a big hearty like,
All
gang.
right.
Leave a comment for us on our YouTube channel.
Here's
Subscribe to
an
the
album I
YouTube
did.
channel. And here comes that album with Stan.
This I recorded this in 1976.
Ah,
The organ player from Ruth Brown's band, Bobby Forrester, is playing organ on it, and Jimmy Smith's drummer is playing drums on this record. His name was Kenny Dixon, and the three of us went in and just played jazz standards back in 1976. Of course, there's the Alice Cooper record, "The Muscle of Love." I'm on working up a sweat. Here's the Willie Dixon Ginger Ale Afternoon album. I'm listed here in the credits as harmonica and saxophone. This Jimmy Smith album called "Sit on It." I'm on this record with Herbie Hancock, with Lenny White, and Abe Laborio, and Alan Silvestri, just monster musicians. Real proud of that one. I played some flute on Unfinished Business, Jimmy Smith. This was a live album we did in Jimmy Smith nightclub called "It's Necessary." This is an album that was put out by Victoria Spivey. Victoria, I used to sit in with Victoria Spivey in Greenwich Village down at the Cafe A Go-Go. She'd be sitting in the back with a piano, singing blues and playing piano. She had her own record label. She brought in all these blues guys, and she would record them at her house in Bedford-Stuyvesant, and then take a bunch of black and white photos, press records, load up the station wagon full of records, and go to all the music stores, and she distributed herself. She was something else.
wow.
She used to call my house every day wanting me to come into her studio.
That's amazing.
And I kind of regretted not doing it. I was young. Bedford-Stuyvesant was not a friendly place for a young teenage white kid to go at that point. And I'll tell you one thing, Bob Dylan went there and he said it was the best experience of his life. There's a picture on the Bob Dylan album, I think it's New Morning, where he's got a big guitar and there's a black lady sitting there playing the piano.
Mm-hmm.
That's Victoria. That was the same place and everything that I used to hang out with her.
That's amazing.
Crazy time.
When you look back at it, huh?
Yeah.
Jeez. So many moments, so many stories. What would be one of your favorite stories? Things that you've mentioned several, but what would be one that really sticks out to you today that's one of your personal favorite things that happened to you in this iconic career of 50 plus years in music?
Well, you know,
next to coming on the Jim Masters show live, of course, next to that.
Well, it's really hard to top the whole Willie Dixon meeting. and
That's
that is like
that's
that
monumental.
It is. It actually is. I mean, the whole thing about finding the backstage pass of the Grammy Awards and being there at the dinner and connecting with Willie on a personal level and spending 7 years with him. I'm still friends with his family.
That's so nice, huh?
Yeah, and that is one of the best moments of my life. Well, it lasted about 6 or 7 years. That was that whole thing. Mm. What else can I say? You know, I'll tell you, they were trying to send me to Vietnam, and I took a bunch of LSD and went AWOL. I flew to Hawaii, and I ended up living in a house with a band called the Blue Cheer.
Wow.
That was pretty crazy time.
That's a crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah. I took a lot of LSD back then, those days.
A lot of people did, yeah.
Yeah, my whole army was that whole army. 2 years, I was LSD all the time. That was the only way I could handle it.
What you were seeing and witnessing and what was, yeah.
Oh yeah, it was like living in a cartoon.
Yeah.
That's what I made it like living in a cartoon.
Some people say some of that enhanced their art, enhanced what they do, enhanced that art has grown out of some of those experiences. Did it for you at all?
Absolutely. I absolutely believe it. It opened my mind to see things in a clearer light, you know, more fine details of things. I always look for fine details.
Yeah.
I'm what you might call a critical thinker.
Yeah, I would say so.
I am definitely a critical thinker. A lot of people think I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I like to do a lot of research.
You like to dig. Yeah.
I dig. Yeah. I don't just look at one side of the story.
No, right. You like to see all sides and then come to your conclusions based on the facts you've gathered. Right. Exactly.
Well, I've always said there's usually 3 sides of the story.
To every story.
Yeah.
There really is.
His and the truth. You know?
And the truth. Exactly.
Yeah. So
well,
there's
you have certainly shared a lot of truth with us, my friend. And this was really a very special conversation here on the Jim Masters Show Live series. And really appreciate all the time and your enthusiasm and passion. And I know we've been looking forward to having you come on the show. And I know you're excited to come on. And I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm so happy to do this show.
As you see, our vibe is cool and calm and fun.
This is part of my book right here.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, there's how I would write a book is being interviewed by somebody and having them take down what I say.
Right.
But I tried to do it myself, and I was looking at myself in my screen, and I was trying to tell myself a story, and I said, I can't tell you the story because you already know it.
You already know the story. It's you, right?
But telling the story to you opens me up.
Exactly. That's what I try to do. I try to create in everything I do, not just on this show, but I try to make things comfortable and easy for people. That's the one 4-letter word that's used to describe me a lot is easy. Even in my professional work on television and radio, people, I've interviewed psychotherapists who are paid very well to find the easy for folks and help them deal with their lives. And people will say, the psychotherapist will say, after I interview them, you made it so easy. I was nervous. I'm like, you were? And it's just what I love doing. And, you and I are both blessed. We are doing work in the various ways, shapes, or forms, and have been, and are, educated in it. And we have these backgrounds. We're doing work that speaks to who we are and that we love doing. And hopefully it resonates with people and they see
one thing I've always said, if you want to be successful in life, find something that you do that you love to do
Yes.
and do it better than anybody else.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
you'll be successful doing it.
Yes. I often say, I don't know if you've heard this phrase,
And it
but
doesn't matter what you do, but if you
right.
can do it with passion and do it better than anybody, I don't
Exactly.
care if you pick your nose better than anybody in the world, you'll be success at that.
Right.
It doesn't matter, yeah, but you got to have that burning desire
Yes.
to do a certain thing.
I say often imitated, never duplicated.
There you go.
That's it. That's what it's all about. You are amazing, my friend. I really appreciate it. Like I said, this is the vibe. It's comfortable. It's easy, fun, live, ad lib, nothing scripted, conversational, not just the typical stale interview. Conversations like Dick Cavett, Johnny Carson used to have, and with our interactive viewers who've been commenting throughout the show, they've been loving this. And this was really great, Stan. I hope you've enjoyed the time with me as much as I have with you.
Absolutely. You know, I had no clue of what I was even going to do or say or how, you know, just went into with a total open mind and just do it just like everything else. I play it by ear.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's my philosophy of life. But I'm not a very good planner because
it was like two New York kids chatting on a stoop.
Yeah. Playing stoop ball. Johnny on a pony.
Slice of pizza. And a good bagel.
We played games in the street in the Bronx, stickball and
you did all that, right?
Ringo Lirio, Johnny.
There's a lot of amazing people that have come out of the Bronx as well too. Melissa Manchester. Yeah. A lot of incredible people.
Yeah. Somebody just posted something with Thelonious Monk. And the guy that played bass with Thelonious Monk, his name was Larry Gales. And Larry was one of my good friends. And me and Larry, we played blues gigs together.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah. We're from the same neighborhood in the Bronx, too. Another guy that I'm very close with is, I'm gonna promote his book. His name is Jerry Jamont. He's the bass player that played on Memphis Soul Stew with King Curtis, and he played on Aretha Franklin records. I mean, he's on so many records. This guy. He's one of my really good friends.
That is really cool.
Yeah, Jerry.
Well, definitely spread the word about our show. If you know other folks you think would like to pop on and stop by the Jim Masters Show live,
I will definitely promote it.
Certainly, a lot of the guests, you know, when they come on, and they end up telling all these other folks, and then they want to come on, and I really appreciate that. I hope the show, you know, met whatever expectations, and again, truly that you had a good time. This was a real pleasure and honor to have you with us on the Jim Masters Show today, Stan.
It was a pleasure to be here. You know who would probably like would be James Gadsden, the drummer.
That would be cool. Yeah.
I could talk to Gad about that. Albert Lee, another fantastic musician.
Fantastic
people. They're iconic people.
Well, as are you, Stan the Behrens.
All right.
Thanks for stopping by the Jim Masters Show, my friend. And we'll keep, as I always say, we'll keep the porch light on for you. You are welcome back anytime, my friend. And hope we're in the same zip code, whether it's West Coast or East, and we get a chance to break bread. That'd be cool.
Awesome. Thank you, Jim, so much for having me on your show. I certainly appreciate it.
You are very welcome, Stan. Congratulations on over 50 plus years in music, and all the very best of health and positive vibes. And we'll have you back. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I love that.
So long.
That's what you call an exit.
That's
Stage
negative.
left. Thanks, my friend. You be well. Take care. We'll chat again soon, okay?
You got it, Jim.
All right. New friend made.
Awesome.
That's it. You take care.
You're my brother now.
That's it. Brother from another mother, right?
You got it.
The Long Island connection. Take care, Stan.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Peace.
Peace and love. Yes, absolutely. And wow, just wow. Thanks so much for this. You are very welcome. You are very welcome. And you were saying peace and love, right? Peace, love, and
peace and love.
Peace and love. That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. And people are saying wonderful things. Just want to show you too. Thank you so much for being Jim's guest today. Special guest. You're an incredible human being. Wow. Just wow. There's so much for this. Thank you so much for this. Great show today. Thank you. Thank you, Stan, for telling us about your career. So interesting. Thank you, Jim. Stan, please come back. This was phenomenal. Stan, come back. I love you. Wow. Come back soon, Jim. I love it. Our pleasure. Our pleasure.
Oh, boy, that all makes me so happy.
That's the Lovities here on the Jim Master Show, the Lovity viewers. They already said you're a Jim Master Show Lovity. How cool is that?
Lovity.
It's a cool thing, right? You know?
Yeah, man.
All these years to become a Lovity. Awesome. I think you've been one for a long time, even before, my friend. You take care, be well, peace and love, as you said, and cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right. Was that not cool or what? Stan the Baron. Now you know why the Baron is part of his sort of his nickname there. Behrens. He's amazing. And so many great stories. He took us down roads that I don't think any of us thought we were going to go down, right? You know, sometimes you think it's just going to be like typical stuff. I did this and I played with that one and I did that. He took us down roads and he was so real and authentic and honest. And I loved it. I loved it. And I love conversations where, you know, it's like a tennis match. You're just going back and forth and it's just the rhythm and the flow. And, you know, you're just really having a really cool time and it goes in different directions. And in my case with this show, the guest, you know, has what they're saying. And then I'll plug in with some of my experiences, you know, as host and sort of connect with what the guest is saying and maybe some things that I can relate to what the guest is expressing, maybe from my own experiences on planet Earth. And I just think it's a wonderful rhythm and everybody's like participating. And it's not just talking heads, you know, ask question and then answer and ask. It's a flow, it's a vibe, it's a feel. And with everybody watching and all the interaction, that just is the icing on the cake, gang. We thank Stan for joining us here on the Jim Masters Show live series. So many fabulous people watching too. Toby, thank you, and everybody else watching right here on the Jim Masters Show live. If this is your first time watching our series, check back. We have almost 1,000 episodes with incredible guests you can watch and enjoy on the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget, give it a like. There's a thumbs up icon on the YouTube channel on all the episodes. Give it a like. Drop a comment on the actual channel. Even if you commented in the chat room, drop a comment on the channel. That helps us grow. And it allows the algorithms to pick that up and shoot this episode out to more people watching around the world. And don't forget to subscribe to Jim Masters TV. That's the channel that houses the Jim Masters Show Live. We really appreciate those who've done that, the thousands who've done that. And every day we get new subscribers and new viewers. And if you are new, we welcome you. If you've been with us since day one or thereafter, it's good to have you with us as well. It's always a pleasure to have you guys here. And thanks for all of this. We really, really, really love all of your comments and gang. Yeah, if you want to interact with us, you can do so. We have a Facebook page, which is Jim Masters TV. That's been there for quite some time. We consolidated everything to make it a lot easier. So you can find us at Jim Masters TV. You can also find me. You know, we post things about our show, viewers interact. And also I post other things on that page that I do in my television and radio and film and stage work. because there's people who follow my career on Jim Masters TV and have followed me there well before the Jim Masters Show live series started. So check us out online at Jim Masters TV on Facebook, Instagram. If you're on Instagram, check us out at Jim Masters TV. Follow along. And on Twitter at Jim Masters TV. We're there. And of course, Stan is at those locations as well. So you can check him out there as well. And again, our YouTube channel is Jim Masters TV. Give it some levity, like, comment, subscribe, and share the links directly from our channel onto your social media and let folks know. Don't keep it a secret. Let everybody know if you enjoy our show. Spread the word. We thank you so very much. Those of you who have done that, it means the world to me, to us, and working really hard, banging out all this content and all these episodes around the world for all of you with all these different guests too that have these amazing stories and all this interaction, guests from all different backgrounds and fields of endeavor, levels of success. It's just amazing. I love doing it. A lot of work behind the scenes, and sometimes it's a little bit of a balance with my professional work. But man, do we love this, and I'm glad you do. Thanks to all of you who express it too with comments and likes and subscribing and messages and emails and tweets and all the rest. We've been just going forward with all these shows, and it's just been really a blessing. So thanks to all of you. We love you all. And we thank one more time our very special guest, whether this is the first time you've heard about him and all the incredible things he's been a part of, all these bands, all this music, all these other iconic figures, playing on some of the beloved TV series, The Rockford Files, Quantum Leap, My Name is Earl, Renegade, movies. It's incredible. Now you're going to listen for him on all of these. Stan Behrens, the Baron himself, joining us here on the Jim Masters Show live series. Thanks, everybody. If you enjoyed this, don't forget you can support us with a super thanks, super emoji, super stickers in the chat section on the channel. And also super thanks is something you can do 24/7. It's a little heart icon. You can do that 24/7 on our YouTube channel on all the episodes. If you enjoyed it and you want to support all this content, this hours of entertainment and conversations and inspiration and all the rest, we invite you to do that. Thanks to those of you who do that as well. You're duly noted, and we love you all. All right, we're going to scoot off here. Thanks for being with us, gang. We love having you here. Another great show, another fantastic conversation. Jim, you, sir, are one amazing person. I can't even, when you get the energy to constantly bring us the very best conversations with incredible guests. Thank you, and thank you, and thank you. Well, thank you for those kind words, Maureen. Really appreciate that. I'm glad you're enjoying it. And you stop by Lovely Hall as often as you do. That means the world to us. Thank you so very, very much. And Jen, thank you very much too. Love you back and appreciate you as well. Thanks for being with us, gang. I'm your host, Jim Masters. Thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, we'll see you on the next episode. We've got amazing guests coming up throughout from all different backgrounds. And as long as you're here, we'll be here for you as well. Be well, gang. Thanks for being with us. Take care and cheers.